Telling a great story not only makes you a great speaker but also makes you memorable. That's why knowing how to tell a great story is very beneficial for your communication, be it online or in person. In this video, I am going to tell you how to tell a great story that will make you memorable and your audience will keep in mind forever. Let's first talk about basic structure of a story. Element of a good story. You can follow the story arc to keep the audience engaged by taking them on an emotional journey that builds tension and eventually release it. The story arc typically includes a introduction, a rising action, the climax, which is the peak moment of tension in the story, and the resolution of the conflict or falling action. Introduction is the beginning of the story when the character, setting, and basic situation are introduced. Inciting incident, the event that disrupts the status quo and sets the main conflict in motion, forcing the protagonist to act. Rising action, a series of events and escalating challenges that build tension and leads to the conclusion and leads to the climax, the most intense part of the story where the main conflict takes place. Falling action, the event that occurs after the climax, where tension begins to decrease. Resolution, the conclusion where the conflicts are resolved and the story comes to a close. A hook at the beginning of the story and a story arc, these are the two most important basic things in your story structure. Now let's talk about how to make your story more engaging to hear. The first thing is silence. The silence is one of the most important thing in your story. During a moment of silence, listener has only two things to do: either to reflect on the previous event or expect what comes next. One mistake poor storyteller always make is that they give out all the information at the beginning itself. Experienced storytellers know how to hold the information for later part of the story. If you give away all the necessary information about the story in the beginning itself, then the audience will feel bored and they will not interested in hearing your rest of the story because they already know what to expect from your story. That's why it is important that you hold the information, just give a glimpse of the information and not release everything at the beginning itself. A good storyteller prepares in advance. You need to prepare your story in advance, but act as if you are thinking when telling the story. If your audience feel if you are speaking from a script, then they will not be interested in hearing the story. Human brain is wired to lean in when it believes in someone speaking to it rather than someone speaking at it. So if you speak to your audience in their language, then they will more interested in listening your story. You should only prepare the key point in your story when preparing the script, because when you speak from your head, then that creates pauses, moment of self-reflection and false start. This makes your story more lively and believable. Thank you for watching the video.